India is also currently embroiled in a fairly turbulent trade and tariff battle with the United States. There are many different layers of unpleasantness, if I may use that word, in the relationship, whether it is the ceasefire and Operation Sindoor or other things that are happening. How should India view this entire regime change impulse that has now begun under Trump 2.0?
I said last year to Indian friends, don't expect that inside deal with the United States on trade. Don't expect that India is going to replace China in the U.S. value chains. The U.S. is too protectionist and too unstable for such an approach actually to be successful. I'm sorry to say that I was shown to be right when Trump did something even stupider than I would have imagined, putting on the penalty 25% plus the reciprocal 25%. The whole thing was completely out of control on the U.S. side. But it proved the basic point. India is not going to develop its economy and its future through some kind of alliance with the United States. I don't think many people think that way, but if they do, I would like to suggest an alternative, which is that India's place is as a leader of the 85% of the world in the emerging and developing economies outside of the US and Europe right now. And that is the fast-growing part of the world economy, and it will be just fine if the BRICS cooperate closely, bring Africa into this, bring the Western Asian region into this. Then there's a real prospect for not only weathering the U.S. instability, but actually having a very dynamic, positive economic future and geopolitical stability, despite what the U.S. might be doing. It's just the U.S. Doesn't call the shots and shouldn't be, the bluster shouldn't make countries afraid of that.
My final question, Dr. Sachs, and this comes back to my introduction of you and the statement that you made in the United Nations Security Council has exploded everywhere. Everyone's watching your words, listening to them very carefully. You've urged the Security Council to stand up to these great power violations. Do you see any realistic path for the Security Council to take any concrete action against a permanent member like the US? Is that even possible? Is the UN even relevant anymore given what we're seeing now?
Well, the Security Council itself certainly cannot take real action against the United States because the US will literally veto that, and that's the structure of the Security Council. But the UN is relevant in an overwhelming sense that it is the one place where the world's governments speak. And it makes a difference if 170 or 180 countries say, we don't want to go this way of lawlessness and anarchy. We want the UN Charter. The UN was made because of disaster in the world, and we can't afford another such disaster. Will that make a difference? Absolutely, for two reasons. One is if the rest of the world adheres to the standards of the UN Charter, even if the United States is blustering and breaking Chinaware, I was going to say, not to be confused, but just breaking the dishes everywhere. Let me state it better. Then the rest of the world will say, well, the U.S. is having a tantrum, but it's not really affecting the whole world. Let everybody remember the U.S. is only 4% of the world population, so it can't break the world through its tantrums alone. So this is one point. But second, it's also important to understand what's happening with American foreign policy is not the policy of the American people. It's not even the policy resulting from a political process. It is a deep state and a president who has certain proclivities that don't ask anything. They don't ask the Congress. They certainly don't ask anything of the American public. And the American public is not in favor of this. So if the rest of the world says, no, this has to stop, that's actually helpful for the American people also to tell their own government, no, we are not going to go on in this unconstitutional manner. And that can make a difference too. So I think the UN remains very significant, very weak in the actual ability to stop this, but extremely important if the world stands up and says we want law, not anarchy, and not hegemony.
I'm going to leave it there for the moment, but Dr. Sachs, I can tell you that many of the things that you've said will fly in the face of popular wisdom here in India when it comes to India-US relations, and I think that's the best possible kind of interview that we could have done at this turbulent time at NDTV. So I thank you for your time. This has been very illuminating as always. We've learned a lot, and I'm sure NDTV's viewers will as well. Thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Great to be with you. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.